We've all been there. That moment in life where everything you thought was solid has just crumbled. And you're standing there in the middle of it all, and you know you have to rebuild, but you have no idea where to even start. There's no blueprint. So today we're going to talk about that, how to lay a new foundation when everything feels completely up in the air. And really, this is the question, isn't it? This is the one that keeps you up at night. How do you possibly take a step forward? How do you rebuild a life, a career, or even just your sense of who you are when you genuinely can't see the path in front of you? Okay, so let's just dive right into this feeling because we have to acknowledge what it is. It's not just that things are uncertain, it feels like you're walking through a thick, disorienting fog. And with that comes this very real anxiety of not knowing the next step, let alone where you're ultimately supposed to end up. And what's so wild is that this feeling is nothing new. This line from Psalm 97 just nails it, right? It says that even when a divine, powerful force is present, there can still be clouds and thick darkness. So what that tells us is that the fog is actually a normal part of the process. It's not a sign that you're lost or that you've done something wrong. So if we accept that the fog is part of the deal, then maybe our whole approach needs to change. Maybe trying to force our way through it, trying to see what isn't visible yet, is the wrong way to go. This leads us to a huge shift in mindset, learning to trust without seeing. Let's dig into what that actually looks like. Right, this is the whole ballgame. We think we need a 5-year plan, a detailed map, before we can trust the journey. But that's not how it works. The whole point here is that a higher power, or the universe, whatever you want to call it, isn't gone just because you can't see it clearly. You don't need clarity to be faithful. You just need enough faith for the next. And this just lays it out so perfectly. When everything feels unresolved and uncomfortable, the big temptation is to escape, right? To numb it all out with distractions, noise, chaos, whatever works. But the real work, the thing that actually builds something new, is to just remain, to stay put, to sit in the uncertainty without running away. That simple act of staying is where the real foundation gets built, brick by brick. So once you make that choice to stay, to remain in the fog, you start to see things in a new light. And this leads to a really surprising source of peace, figuring out not who you are, but who you are not. I mean, what a powerful statement. When John the Baptist is being questioned, his clearest, most powerful answer is about what he isn't. He knew his true role because he was crystal clear on what it wasn't. There's so much freedom in that. It's about releasing yourself from a job, a burden that you were never meant to carry in the first place. Just take a look at this list. Seriously, how many of us have tried to be these things? The family fixer, the one who's going to finally correct a toxic person, the avenger, the savior. The moment you can finally say, you know what? I am not that. You give yourself permission to stop. You can finally lay down those impossible burdens, and that is where real peace can finally start to seep in. And as you start letting go of those old, heavy roles, your whole definition of what strength means begins to shift. It stops being about being the loudest person in the room or the one who wins every argument. You start to find and cultivate a much quieter, deeper, more grounded kind of authority. Just look at the difference here. The old goals, they're all about ego, aren't they? Winning, exposing, dominating. But the new goal is about presence and service. You're shifting from this need to be loud and right to just having a quiet authority, from trying to expose people to just having a humble presence. That right there is where real strength lives. This brings us to a completely different way of looking at legacy. We usually think it's about applause, about recognition, about how many people know your name. But what if that's not it at all? A real legacy isn't measured by the crowd. It's measured in the quiet impact you have. The people who are stronger, better, more at peace, simply because you were in their life. Okay, but let's be real for a second. When you choose this quieter path, when you stop reacting, when you stop fighting for validation, when you stop rushing to have it all figured out, it can look really strange to the outside world. People might even think it's a sign of weakness. And this is exactly the encouragement you need to hear. What you're building right now has a deep, unseen strength. The wisdom you're cultivating might look foolish to people who only measure power by how loud or how fast you are, but trust me, it's the kind of strength that actually lasts. So all of this brings us to one final core idea for this entire rebuilding phase. It's this. This is a season of formation, not performance. This is all about the deep, internal work of becoming who you're meant to be, not putting on an external show that you've already arrived. So let's just lock these in. These are the 5 truths to hold on to. Number 1, you do not need clarity to be faithful. 2, just remaining is way more powerful than running. 3, knowing who you are not will bring you so much peace. 4, your job right now is stability, not speed. And finally, number 5, and let this one really sink in, this is all formation, not performance.
And that leads us to this final thought. It's a really important one. When you're in this phase, doing all this quiet, internal work, with no big results to show for it yet, it is so easy to feel like you're falling behind. But you're not. You're not behind at all. You are right on time. This is your work right now, and you are exactly where you need to be.